so I made it last as long as I possibly could. Transmission's acting up, leaking oil like crazy. I actually had a mouse living in the rocker. You can see how bad the rocker is, how bad my floor is. This is my carpet right here. My truck was already acting up transmission-wise when we hauled the GTO to Miami for adventure drives. And ever since then, I've been kind of limping this thing around, trying not to get caught by MTO, because this is what's left of it. This is what Ontario salt and moisture and humidity does. So, I can't drive it anymore. It's time to rebuild the truck that I got from down south. So in this episode, we are taking the new cab, prepping it, and then bringing it to Newport. We're gonna be painting everywhere underneath, then we'll be painting the body, and then we'll be under-oiling all the trouble spots so that this doesn't happen again to the new body. We're doing a complete color change, which I'm super stoked about. We're gonna yank the engine out so we can pull the timing cover, valve cover, and the intake pipes for the compound turbos so we can color match those. And oh, she's gonna be beautiful. And talking about beautiful, look at that, eh? I've been wearing a bunch of different gloves, and I gotta tell you, it's not as difficult getting used to the gloves as I thought it would. I've got different gloves for different applications. The 727s are really good for the fluids, but these are kind of my go-to for everything else when I'm not using fluids. They're the Ringer 113s. If you want to check out these 113s for yourself, they're just really good mechanic, all-around purpose glove, and we also have a discount if you guys want to try them out yourself. So we'll put the link down below, and we'll see if these hold up for the length of the time it takes me to do a full frame-off restoration on an 05 Silverado. Here we go. So Silverado was like, why does the Ford get a bus engine? I want a bus engine. We're gonna put a bus engine in Silverado. We're gonna be cranking it up to about 500, 600 horsepower. This is a very good setup on a modest budget to be able to get some really good results. We got these rockers and cab corners from Summit. Really happy with how they fit. Back at Newport, they're so happy with my rust-free box. They're like, whoa, where'd you get that?
How far did you drive for these parts?
Shut up. Okay, so basically I'm just stripping the cab, getting ready to replace the rockers and the cab corners. I'm gonna pull the door panel off and started pulling on this. And she's a bit heavier than she was stock. That is a lot of change.
More 22 shells.
That's funny. How does that much change get in there? Okay, so even though the floor is spotless in here and the inner rockers and everything are beautiful, the outer rockers are still shit, which is too bad. I was hoping not to do this, but that is the only spot on the truck that is rotten. So we're going to put some rockers and cab corners in there. And to do that, we need to remove the fender and the hood because it goes up underneath. So why not strip it down to absolutely nothing? So if you watch the video of me welding the rockers in the C10, it's completely different because it basically comes to here, so you have to stitch weld everything. It's not that difficult, you just got to drill out every one of the spot welds. You can grind it off, but I basically just drill right through and then clean up the steel on the new rocker on the backside, so you got shiny steel. Put some weld through primer on there and then just weld it from the backside, and then it doesn't matter which way you do it actually, because the rubber goes over top of this, but that allows you to catch the surface and then around the ring. That usually works pretty good. You will have to seam it here and here, but we'll show you how to do that. First things first, let's get rid of this rocker. Here we go. Unfortunately, the bottom spot welds here, they kind of disappear. So you're gonna have to grab one of these flapper discs, 40 grit. I get mine from Princess Auto and just grind it down until you see the other steel, and then it should peel off pretty quick. This rust tastes a lot like dirt. It's weird. Oh yeah, my bag. You guys are supposed to remind me of that. Cab corner, just grind spot welds on that side, make a cut underneath the length of your corner, and then cut it on the inside here. Then you can grind these spot welds once the corner's put out of the way. Now, before we do anything else, we're going to I'll cut this, grind these spot welds off, but we'll get rid of this, and then we are going to paint everything on the inside. Let that dry, go on to the other side. We'll paint the inside of the rocker and the inside of the cab corner, everywhere except where the spot welds are. These are drain holes. They are meant to get water in here. It's just, it's got to have a way to escape too. So these are nice access holes. That's a way to get your anti-rust in there. So we'll spray that all with oil after we come back from paint. If there's a chance of overspray or paint getting in there at all, you want that to stick and then the oil to get on it. Here we go. Okay, so I really do like these little skinny little discs. You can basically just stay on top of what you need to replace, and the thickness of the blade is about the same as the steel, and then you can butt it up and put it in place. So almost cut too much here. I'll have to fill that in a little bit. I'll keep in mind that I'm gonna be closer. So don't cut too deep. You can replace your corner without replacing your rocker, but you can't replace your rocker without replacing your corner because it goes underneath. So we'll do the same here. When you are cutting, make sure that you don't angle your blade because then your cut will be up higher. You want to keep it perfectly perpendicular. Here we go. Okay, I scuffed up the inside, drilled all the holes for the bottom. We're just gonna lather on some good old trim clad. Brand new can, I just left it outside. I think I was holding something up for a bit. The sticker's all off. Yes, look at that, nice and thick. I'm gonna go paint the rocker on the inside of the cab too. The inner rocker. You want to tack your rocker in place. I goofed a little here. I had to raise it up a hair and my blade was off. Good thing we have a welder. But anyway, you want to close the door. And you know how I like my gaps. Make sure that the rocker is nice and even all the way along to the front. And then we can weld it solid. Make sure that your paint isn't flammable or that it's dry, because that is an issue. So, we'll weld her solid and go on to the other side. We'll weld her solid and then we'll put the cab corner in. Here we go. Okay, we got these rockers and cab corners from Summit. Really happy with how they fit. Turned out really good. I had a bit of a gap here that I had to fill, but that was my fault. A little bit of tweaking in the corner here. Just gotta tap it and make it fit. Take a screwdriver and pry there. But luckily all of this gets covered by the cab corner, so we'll get into that. But even underneath, looks really, really good. I'm happy with that. So we got paint on the inside, nice and thick. I'm happy with that. You can see it's starting to run out the side. That's what we want. We can spray more down into the corners through the openings there and On the inside, you can see all the holes there. We're gonna just soak the whole thing in paint and oil. It should be good for another 10 years, which is what I'm hoping for this time around. Here we go. Okay, cab corner welded in. I went underneath the seam on this one. I went above the seam on the other side because there was a big scratch here and a dent. So that fixes that. We got the welds nicely done there. All the spot welds. Come around to the front. That turned out really nice. Happy with all of that. So we'll put the doors back on, put the fenders back on again, so I can strap it to my cart and then pull it into the trailer and off to Newport for some paint. Here we go. Back at Newport, they're so happy with my rust-free box. They're like, whoa, where'd you get that?
It's pretty clean.
Yeah, other than the 1,000 dents in there.
Not so straight, but it's clean.
Yeah. And what about my welding?
You welded this?
Yes. Can I make YouTube videos on how to weld, or you just tell everybody don't listen to that guy?
I don't know about YouTube videos, Rich, but it's not that bad. I've seen worse.
Good.
I've seen worse.
That's not a hole, that's just a little indent in there. There's no hole. If you look through, there's no light showing. There's no light showing.
We'll fix her up.
Nice. So, strip all the gunk off, clean it. We're gonna paint the whole thing, under the hood, firewall, inner fenders, everything.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yep.
You love my projects.
I love your projects. Inside the box?
Inside the box, we're gonna pull all these little dents. It's gonna go to SEMA. Is that a problem? I've got lots of videos on painting. We didn't want to make that video about this. We've done lots of rocker repairs. We got our short strand fiberglass in there with Bondo coming in afterwards to make that all look nice and good. The cab is in excellent shape, so that was a really good buy. Inner rockers, floor, everything is perfect. Now we wanted to make this video about pulling dents here, and we got lots of dents in the bottom of the box and all along the top lip where people were hawking stuff into the back and not being careful. But the owner looked at this and goes, yeah, that's a lot of dents that it's gonna be really hard to fix. So he goes, you got an option. We can pull all the dents, but that's gonna be pretty pricey. Now, the decision is that my last box, when I painted it, I painted the entire inside and bottom of the box and the fender, or the sides, but it rusted away on the inside here where this lip is on the inside. It had a big 1.5 inch rust all the way until the apps actually separated. Under-oiled it, did the best I could, but that wasn't good enough. So instead, we opted to go this route, which is getting all new box sides. Nice and shiny, no dents, genuine GM. And even though this is getting out of hand budget-wise, now we can prep the inside, there's foam there, and make sure that that doesn't rust away. So now the video is gonna be about removing the box sides and welding and gluing in new box sides. Here we go. That's the short strand fiberglass. This is the premium filler that goes over top. And then this is the premium putty glaze that goes over top of the Bondo to fill all the tiny thin holes. The Fords, I remember them saying that they had spray foam in everywhere. Is that a good idea?
No.
No?
It just, we live in too moist of an area.
Moist?
Way too moist.
So bad idea, holds
Bad
moisture and
idea.
rust?
Yeah.
Okay, so just put up with a little bit of hollow echo and...
Yeah, it's a pickup truck.
Yeah, that's true.
It's way too moist in the area. Definitely too moist.
Okay. Sounds good. I will leave it alone. We'll just put some sound deadening mats on there and...
100%, yeah.
Yeah, right on. All right. Alright, got the Catalan primer. I'm not going to paint the back of it. We're going to paint where the windows are going to go, just to seal that off, and then just the rockers and the roof. We got these, just a couple small little dents that we had to fill in yet, so a second coat on those. And then, I think these are done, but might as well paint everything all at once. Not gonna prime the firewall there, but we can hit the posts, make her look brand new. There we go. It doesn't turn out too bad at all. Very nice. Put some seam sealer on there. Oh yeah. Spots. Feel. Two little spots right there. Nice.
Gonna guide coat the spots to see if Rich missed any dents or chips. Pretty sure he did.
Pretty sure I did.
Can't trust the new apprentice. Yeah, it's easy. When you start sanding, all you see is the orange that's left, and it shows you all the low spots.
Yes. What grit?
We'll hit it with 180.
180? Okay. All right, so we got Matt. We got Matt marking all the spot welds on that side. So he can take a little belt sander and grind each one of these spot welds out. And he's doing a really nice job so that we can pop this box off. We're gonna cut this corner out because there's two way up in there that are kind of hard to get at. And then he's going to do all the ones down below in the arch and then take the bars off, and she's ready to come off. But before we do that, we do take a sharp awl and scribe exactly where the old one sat. And we're also going to put a piece of tape here and just measure down to the corner here, and then make sure that we put it back in the exact same spot. So once those are done, we'll take these off. We'll prep the insides with paint and rust protection. We'll go from there. So much fun, isn't it, Matt?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not Matt, by the way.
What is your name?
Kevin.
Kevin. It is Kevin?
Well, it's my nickname.
Okay, so we don't actually know your real name?
No.
All right, and I'm Ron. They don't give anybody official names here. Here we go. That's the worst spot.
That is the worst spot. It's a perfect time to take care of it right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and then we're gonna actually grind the back side of it, and then also here, because we're gonna put glue in between and use a welder that kind of does a factory spot weld. So we need the back to be ground too, so it can contact, like a fusion welder.
And then the glue will take up that space where moisture is gonna sit?
Exactly.
Right on.
Put some Rust-Oleum on it.
Definitely. Nice big thick wad of trim clad. You're a big fan of trim clad, eh?
Trim clad. We just get an inner box, inner wheel out.
We're stopping here. That's it. There we go.
That is an impressive wide angle.
Yeah, not bad, eh?
Holy shit, if you were beside me and I can see.
Don't scratch it, other way. I'm just joking. Okay, just because the paint's chipped off there, we're gonna sandblast that. We're also gonna sandblast the rust on here. So interesting enough, this is where the old one rotted away, but it's got little stoppers here to give you a space, and the water's supposed to come and go underneath. The issue was, with the construction that I was in, I probably got all mud and crap on top of that, and then I had a 2-inch strip rust all the way along my old box. So we'll sandblast this, put some trim pad on the inside of that, and then the entire thing, and then it should be good to go for another 10 years. Here we go. Alright, got some lights for the box, got some tech clamps to hold some wire. So yeah, we got these, which will fit perfect right there, and then we've got those little guys, which will fit nicely right in here. This is very difficult. I think it's like 6,000 lumens. That's right, but it's not like.
Thought it'd be brighter.
Yeah. Those are.
Well, that one's brighter.
Those are much brighter.
That's way brighter. I like it.
Wonderful.
That's gonna be cool. I think it's gonna be really bright.
Here we go. Right, got the plugs there just enough so we can pull them out if we paint the bed. Everything nicely tied up. Josh there with his battery pack, we gonna work.
Fire in the hole?
Fire in the hole. Nice.
Those skinny ones are way brighter, right?
I think so, yeah. I like it. I like it. Let's close all the doors and turn the lights off. That's pretty cool. So these lights end up in the exact same spot, like in the middle of the, it's like a really bright spot right there. That's funny. Right on. Okay, box sides today. I'm gonna put our rubbers back in again. It does get spot welded on this lip right here. So we need to clean this lip so that the glue will stick. The machine is gonna grab it, clamp it, and burn between. It'll go through the glue. The glue will seal it just like paint. So, here we go. Okay, so now we need to test fit everything with the tailgate and the lights in there. Nothing worse than having a giant seam that's off at the top or the bottom. So once we have that in place, we can self-tap it in place, and then we can roll it over to get glued and spot welded. And then if we put the screws back in the same hole, it should line up. So what we want to do is make sure that the gap is nice and even all the way along. The lights really only go in one spot. We can clamp that in place, double check, we'll drill the hole, and then put a screw in there. Drill that down and in here. I always kind of wondered why this side didn't latch properly, but I can't remember when I took this peg out. That would do it. So all that happened is those inner walls, like Ed was probably leaning on them and bent them all out. So,
How far did you drive for these parts?
shut up.
How far?
It was a fun trip, okay?
Yeah, you got a nice cab though.
I got a nice
You had
cab.
to put rockers in cab corners.
Yeah, just little stuff. Yeah. And a bunch of dents. And
So you drove 12 hours for a firewall?
14.
14 hours for a firewall? It's pretty perfect.
That's all. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, right?
Nice, clean southern box. Tailgate fits really good.
Tailgate fits really good for 100, 200 bucks.
Cheap,
Yeah, I'm missing the tin gear, but that'll go in here. So these, they just have vice grip on the top.
Put some guide holes. It's like a 24-hour cure, full cure.
Oh, okay, because I heard people say like you get one shot to put the glue on and then that's it.
No. This is a slow
okay.
one. I think it's like 3 hours of work time.
Okay, it's good.
We're good. We got time.
Okay, I gotta pull the lights back out again. But then on the inside of that and there, I think that's it.
You're awesome. Let's roll her over.
How come you belittle me nonstop off camera, and when we're on camera, you're like, oh, this is a really good job, Rich?
Well, it's because Aaron's here. I like him.
Once we have paint on the outside, we will be using Rust-Oleum's undercoating. They're corrosion resistant. We just don't want to risk having any of it come on the outside and leaving fisheye. So we'll be applying that in between the bed sides and underneath the cab and the box once we have the paint on the outside. Alright, so while Dustin's putting paint on all the inside pieces, all I can do is sand the box. So nice, so everything's pretty straightforward. Away we go, 320, then 600, and possibly 800. Okay, so second coat of base. We got just a little bit toasty in there. Coats. When that's finished baking and nice and dry, then the pearl goes on and then the clear. I don't know why I do things so difficult, but it'll definitely pay off in the end. I think we'll stop the video there. It's just more sanding and then some more sanding. We got 320, then we got 600, then 800, then we paint. And really looking forward to that. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. The ringer's held up great, and the nicest part is what your hands look like underneath the gloves. I could use some sleeves, but it's way too hot for that. But shout out to Ansel. If you want to check out everything that they have to offer to make your hands touchable again, then check out their website. We'll put the link down below. Other than that, you're gonna want to check out the next video because we're putting paint on it. And super cool, nice pearl paint, and she's gonna be the nicest 05 Silverado, I'm gonna say, in Ontario. Someone once told me the difference between a good job and a great job is usually about an hour. And I'm finding it's about an hour a day. So if you're not filthy, you're not rich, get out there and work on it. Enough yapping, here we go.